Hey, are we folks? Welcome back to my channel, Finnyfella Trader. I just thought I'd make a quick breakdown of three of the trades I done in the past 2 days. So today is it's the trades I've done on the 20th and the 21st. Now because I'd hit past challenge on the 70,000, I reset my paper trading account to 100,000 because I'm going to go into the new year with funded 100,000 account. So I just want to get a bit of practice, maybe a bit of feel for what it's like to, I guess, to see the numbers on the screen with 100,000, whether that be losing or winning. So I've reset the account, and you can see my previous videos already reached, like, I think it was like 11% on the 70,000. So I'm going to try and do some nice numbers with the 100,000, just to get a feel for it and come into the new year fresh and up to date with how I'd like to be trading. So I'll just start off in the daily, as you see. Just to break it down real quick, the market has come up. It's taken out these highs, as mentioned before, the fair value gap in here. It's starting to break down. This is today and this was yesterday. So going into, I will straight to the 4 hour here. So straight to the 4 hour, and I'll show you why I entered the trade. This here is one of the reasons why I entered a long, because this is what I would classify as a 4 hour order block. And excuse me, as you can see, I'll just change this color, sorry, make it a wee bit easier for you to see. Template, trend line. Okay, this is a 4 hour order block on my eyes, which means this was really the last run down, what I can consider for the before the market pushed up. Now people can pick this one as well and this one, but this is the first one for me that really makes sense. And also just to note, there's a 4 hour fair value gap in here. I've already had a reaction off here before, so this is something I was looking for, short term long, not not something that's going to hold, because as you know I'm an intraday trader, but not the ramble. This was the reason I started looking for longs if the market give me a sign. So I'll break it down into 15 minutes. This is yesterday's London kill zone, and this is also the New York kill zone. Now, as you can see, during the Asian session, the market came up. It took out these highs over here, buy side liquidity. It rushed down. It took out the sell side liquidity all here and here. And then the market started to retrace up a little. And moving down in the smaller time frame, you'll start to see what I could see, why I entered. So this is going into, sorry, wrong one. Thought there was something weird there. All right, as you can see, this is the London session. And the market run up quick, and it took out this buy side liquidity here and dropped pretty quick to take out this sell side liquidity. But during the lunch break, or should we say the London lunch break, and before the New York Open, you can see here that the market made equal lows. My eyes, that's sell side liquidity. I'll just mark it SSL, sell side liquidity. Also equal highs up here. To me, that's buy side liquidity. So template buy side liquidity. Here you can see 8 o'clock New York Open. The market rushed down quickly. And for me, that's a sign that when the market runs into an area very quick, I always feel that that's trying to suck in sellers and taking out sell side liquidity, because there's stops laying below here and the market wants to take it out. And if you look in the 5 minute, also over here is the 5 minute fair value gap. So again, London Open, This is the London kill zone. I didn't do any entries here at cutoff, but it's not really the zone I like. I like the New York kill zone, which is over here. So as I say, market made these equal highs, equal lows, buy side liquidity, sell side liquidity. Excuse me. I let the market tell me really when and where I'm going to look for an entry. So when I seen this impulse down very quickly, that was the moment I said, right, this is a fake out as such, Judas swing. I'm going to switch it straight down into the 1 minute, which I did. Now, on the 1 minute, this is where the market broke this sell side liquidity. It run down quick. It did punch through the fair value gap a little, but trading isn't perfect, guys. There's going to be moments where you're it's not going to go exactly to plan or as you imagine, and that's going to happen a lot. But you have to realize it's never ever going to be perfect. So without the perfection, I let this candle here tell me, this very candle here, that this is the possible moment the market's going to reverse. I'm going to delete this for a value gap, which remember is over here. Because I already know it's here now. In my head, I don't need that drawn on. I already know it's here, and I already seen this print. So let me just put a wee bulb here. That's when my brain switches on. Because we've had this run down. Why does this make me want to get in? This doesn't make me want to get in right away. This just lets me know that the market broke this structure here, this swing high, and it made a swing low, but it didn't break this low here. This candle here did push up and break this high in the 1 minute. And then I waited for the closure of this candle. And if you look, what can you see? That's right, for a value gap. Just mark that out. There's a fair value gap. So I had planned that if anything punches into here, I'm entering a long trade. For however long, I did not know, but this was ultimately the buy side liquidity, these equal highs. This is where I thought the market would chase or be attracted to because it's starting to break structure up. And I always like to go, as you know, anybody's watching my videos, I like 20 pip stop loss. It's just something at the minute I like, and I I'm this is just what I'm comfortable with. Now people can say, right, well, make it tighter. If you know that's going to be the low, you can make it tight and go for 10 pip stop loss and all that. And that's all well and good. Someday maybe I will, but at the minute I know my how far my talent stretches, and I know there's loads of room to improve, and I'll give that time it will. But right now, as of right now, 20 pip stop loss, and I like to take profits off whenever I get a 1-to-1 if I'm not feeling confident. So when that run up and it nearly hit 20 pips, I took my first parcels, and my first parcels I will take 80%. And the reason I took 80% off here is simply because this might act as a resistance and the market could come back down. And also, there's a fair value gap in here. The market might just be retracing back up in there to sink. So I'd rather pay myself from the market and relax the rest of that trade and see what I can get or what I cannot get. So I took my first parcel on this candle here. And ultimately, I wanted to see the market come up and take out this buy side liquidity. Now, I'm not really interested in holding for the buy side liquidity. I like to go a wee bit shorter. So at this moment, I use my fib retracement, and I was aware of this fair value gap up here. So I actually went for a 3-to-1 trade. I'm just going to show you. I'm just going to flick on my execution here to show you where I entered and where I took partials. So you see in this candle here, I entered, and this is where I took partials. There was, look at the drawdown in that. I just removed the fair value gap here. Oh, excuse me, my bad. Let's remove this fair value gap. If we can get the mouse to work for me. Like I had maybe one pip drawdown, and that was the end of it. The rest was an upward movement. And as you can see over here, I took partials for aiming for this up here. And again, I took partials over here. The reason I took partials over there is ultimately, let me move this to 5 minutes. Ultimately, I kind of had to go away from the screen, and I don't like to do that. I'm going to pull this down to where it actually was 70 pips. Yes, the reason I took partials here also is because the market had almost come up and hit my take profit. But here, as you can see on the 5 minute, is also a fair value gap. And I had to leave my screen at the time. So I took my partials. You know, I would consider that a good 75% of my overall. And I moved my stop loss to entry. And I left my ultimate take profit here because I wasn't at the screen. I'll say once again, I don't really like leaving the screen. I like to manage my trade as I go. So this was yesterday's trade. Entered here. He's all seen the reason why. I'm not going to ramble on about it. This ultimately where I believe the market was going to come to take out the buy side liquidity up here with these equal highs, which it did. And it closed out my trade at 4 New York time, which is, I think that's London. No, it's not. Sorry. Anyway, so I'm a bit all over the place today. As I have a wee bit of a family issue going on. My son's sick and my dad, and I just took a moment to come back here and make this video and maybe help somebody out. So my head's a wee bit well over the place. So apologies to anybody that's listening to this, but I'm just trying to fly through it, so at least people can get an idea of what I was looking for and why. Now that is yesterday's trade. today, today I'll turn off the executions and I'll explain what today's trading was about. So London Open market run up a little before running down. So my eyes is taking out all this buy side liquidity here, and it run down, broke these lows. And yes, you could look for an entry here, but again, London's not my thing. I'm not really interested in London. So my entry begun the moment the market started to run up in the New York Hill Zone. So as you can see, around 7:25, the market started to run up very quick. And for me, that's always the sign that the market's coming to take out buy or sell side liquidity. So let's just go down to the 1 minute and I'll show you the sell side liquidity I was looking at. This is the moment to start to run up in New York Hill Zone. As you can see, there's buy side liquidity here, resting here, resting here, and resting here. There's also fair value gaps up in here. But I ultimately went for my first trade here because I had marked up that this is the buy side liquidity. And we'll just mark it out quickly. And this in my head at the time was where the market had come to run up, take out this buy side and all, and then it started to break down, which it did. It broke down here, but it didn't quite break any lows until this candle here. It broke this very small swing low on this candle, but it also printed a fair value gap right in here. So I entered the trade on this candle. I'm just going to put my executions on just so I get this perfectly right. I entered the trade on this candle on the knowledge that I know this swing low here was broken. And there was a good run down here, and I knew there's a fair value gap up in here also. But for me, this was structure break. Now, literally, as you can see, the moment I entered the trade, it did not go my way. It just run up and took out further buy side liquidity over here. So if you look, here's all buy side liquidity as far up to here. And to note, I think I do believe in the 5 minute there's a fair value gap here. You note here, there is a fair value gap here. And that's what the market run up into very quickly. But I just got my entry timing wrong. The entry timing I went for really and truly was possibly a little bit early. Should have maybe waited for a stronger break of this structure or this structure. Because this is not ideally the swing low I'm really looking for. I kind of went off my, my strategy a little. But I still had the belief that because our market run up so quick, that it was running into buy side liquidity before breaking down. So this is a strong movement down. This did break. I'll just remove this. This did break a swing low, and it broke it nice and strong, a good impulse down, and it also printed a fair value gap up in here and one down in here. And ultimately, as you can see, this, if I just mark out fair value gap here, whenever the market, because there's a wee bit more or cautious, should I say. So whenever the market did come into this and started to break down a little, and this candle here didn't quite push above this, that's when I entered the trade. And as you can see, the market started to break down. And ultimately, if I go out to the 15 minute, you can start to see that there's a bigger sell side liquidity built up here and here. Let's just go out a little bit further to the RC. Here, and I'm going to do this 4 hour. Here and here. And there's more over here, but you can see it clear in the 15 minute. What does this look like to a retail trader? The market's hit here and bounced off and hit here and bounced off. What is that? I'm going to say bollocks they all talk about. Oh, it's resistance or support. This is support. This is a stronghold area. Like the market's reacted off here before, but they don't actually read what the market's telling them. And that's when I knew, like, people's going to be buying off support. That's the system sucking in buyers when ultimately they're just going to reverse the market on pretty quick. So down into the 5 minute and down into the 1 minute. this is where I entered, and this is where I took my first partial. Now, the reason I took my first partial here is because of a fair value gap up in here, and also because this is around the 50% retracement area. So if the market is coming down in for a discount, start buying again, then this is a good area to start taking a partial in case that does happen. And lucky enough, it did. I'm not going to say lucky enough because we read the market right. So that's what I had in my head. So if you can imagine again, my normal 20 pip stop loss. I knew there was sell side liquidity lying down here. I knew there was more lying over here. And I knew retailers would be thinking that's support, that's where you buy. That's bullshit. That's not where you buy. That's when you see stuff that looks very retail, that's the moment you actually think the opposite. And again, I had to leave the chart. I had to pick my dad up from the hospital. Say it's been absolutely hacked these past few days, but that's neither here nor there. So again, I took my partial here. I wanted to move my stop loss to entry at that point, but you're always going to get pulled back in the market. Like, look at all this buy side liquidity built up here. Like, that's a sure sign the market is going to come up and take some of that out. Like, again, retail thinking that's buy side liquidity. That's all buy side liquidity. Here, 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 here. What's retail thinking? What's retail thinking? That's resistance. Look, all that is a stack in orders. That's resistance. And then as soon as that run up went up there, I was like, that's just coming up to take out more sell stops or buy stops, sorry. And then the market started to break down again. And ultimately I let it run to this take profit. Now, why did I go for this area and not normal sell side liquidity which resides here and here? Is because I decided I'm going to use my fib. I'm going to use my fib this time and go a little further. And that's exactly what I did. I didn't go the full. I could have, as you can see, the 0.27, but again, I don't really need that. I'm just happy enough with taking my partials and being realistic to my talent. Talent, if there's a better word than talent, like being realistic to my, what's the word? Damn. Experience. That's the word. That is the exact word I'm looking for. Experience. That's the limit of my experience right now. And I do know someday I'll be going for a lot bigger trades and being able to hold them a bit better, taking my partials maybe a wee bit later, having the balls to take them a wee bit later. But right now, I'm happy enough for trading how I know I can trade and to know that there's loads of room for growth. That's a good feeling. That's a nice feeling. So that was my three trades. As say I've had win yesterday, very little drawdown. Today I had a loss. Literally as soon as I entered, it just came up and took me out. But then when it started to break down, it took out this. Zoom in a little just to make it easier. It took out this low with a good push, and it printed a fair value gap up in here. And it's very easy to turn around and say I'm not entering again because I lost. I lost the trade, and you can't knock your confidence. But if the trade's on, you must take it. If it's in that kill zone, anything outside of forget about it. But in that fair value gap, once that had broke that low, I knew I had to take this trade. And look, what drawdown is there? How do you get more precise than that? There's not even a pip draw down there. It's just pinpoint. And that's what I've learnt. And that's over a 2 year span, by the way. And a lot of heartache. So any trader that's actually being successful at it isn't bullshitting, isn't telling you we're making tens of thousands a day. And believe you me, there is traders that do that, but they haven't done that in, you know, the space of no time and being major consistent at it. You have to realize that this is going to take years to learn. I don't care what anybody says, years to learn. You can learn the mechanical end of it, like what stages you're supposed to do, but your biggest battle will be the human side of you, which will take years to reprogram your brain and your emotions to literally do the opposite of what the market's telling you to do. Like that, when that runs up that quick, that's scary to go for a sell. Because it just looks like it's going to keep going. Like it's smashed this high, took out this high. Just feels like it's just going to keep on going. But that's not the case. That's usually a moment you should be taking a step back and saying, "Why is it running up this quick?" Like, don't be fooled. That's a Judas swing. As you can see, two of my trades, very little drawdown. I could go for tighter, tighter stop losses, but I'll build myself up to that. I am sick of this cough, by the way. Just will not go. Um. So yeah, I hope that explains everything to people. I'll show you my paper trade and say I wiped out my 70,000 because I just wanted to. I know. I just wanted to use 70 as a way of trading, and then because of I'm going to get funded for the 100K next year, and yes, I will. No, actually, I mightn't show my real account because that's nobody's fucking business in my eyes. That's my fucking business. What I make and what I put away. Um, I've worked long and hard to be able to do this, and I'm talking like I've easily done 18-hour days of this for months. I have sacrificed time away from my wife, and more importantly, my son. Um, he asked me, and it broke my heart. He asked me, or he asked his mommy, should I say, is Daddy going to be home on Christmas Day? Um, that's heartbreaking. That's really hard to hear because I've had to sacrifice so much to be able to trade consistently profitable. And I don't think, and I don't mean any offense to anybody, but I don't want to show my real account. I'll show I have a real account, but I don't want to show my profits on it because that's my fucking business. I don't ask anybody what's in their bank account or how much they make a week. So for me, some things should be kept should be kept private. But I will 100% be here to help people. That is one of my ambitions, one of my goals. I want to do it. I want to help somebody that's coming from nothing, has a big dream, and fucking loves this and wants to do it. Because I don't care what your situation is. If you knew what my situation was, you might be able to, let's say, resonate with me, I guess. And I know everybody's got their story, and I've got mine. And I'm not looking for a boo-hoo or a fucking. That's not me. I am completely opposite. Shit, I don't like negative people. I don't like people who cry about their situation or my life's hard and all that fucking shit. If it's hard, fucking do something about it. Don't sit and whinge like a bitch. Fucking work for it. Earn it. You have to. You're not going to get this handed to you unless you work your balls off. It's not going to come to you easy peasy, and just because somebody promises you a fucking edge with my strategy, 100% win rate, that means jack shit. 100% win rate. There's people out there, 30% win rate, absolutely smashing the profits. Because I'm so shit at telling people that I care. I don't know how to say it because I'm old fashioned. I don't want to pat somebody in the back and fucking. I hope you're okay. Just fucking yes, man up. Well, people say, "Oh, you can't say that." You can, man the fuck up. Work for it. Quit being a sap. You don't deserve anything in life. You work for it. Then you deserve it. And if you think if you've low self esteem and you think to yourself, I'm never going to make this because I don't deserve it, then fucking work for it, deserve it. Make a point of grinding day and night on sacrificing a life for a few years so you can have a life for the future for you and more importantly your family and the people you love. Because that's what I'm doing it for. I don't give a shit about myself. I honestly don't. For me, it's family. For me, it's the story I have behind me that only a few people know truly what I have went through and where I've come from. And I don't mean went through depression and all that. That's not, again, that's not me. It fuck depression. Depression's a mental attitude that boo hoo poor me. I've had a tough life. I want everybody to feel sorry for me. I just don't want to be around them people. People that feel sorry for themselves. I love people that haven't two beans to rub together and they're absolute savages. And there's nothing nobody can say or do that's going to make them disbelieve what they know they can do if they just work their balls off. If that's you, please subscribe, please hang about, please watch the videos, and you don't have to comment, you don't have to like the fucking video, just learn from it. But if you're that sap that's always whinging about life, fuck off. I don't want anybody like that following this page. And I'm literally sitting here with 4 subscribers. Imagine what I'm going to be like when I've fucking 1,000 subscribers or 2,000. 2,000 savages, not dickheads. I'm talking savages, good people, good hearts, in the right place, but they ain't saps. They ain't going to be pushed over. They ain't going to roll over just because the world hit them a couple of slaps. So I'll stop my rambling there. Just thought I had to get that out off my chest and just tell people. So again, yesterday, today's, as you can see, I took my parcels. I took a big loss today. Nearly lost everything I made yesterday. So be it. Don't really care. I have full confidence in my edge, and I took partial, and then it finally hit me take profit, which is here. This is my partial, and these are my losses. So I'll leave it at that, folks. Look after yourselves. God bless, and I'll see you back here. Probably, probably after New Year's because the markets will pretty much go dead now. There's no real point in trading. It's good to have a wee break away from the charts and come absolutely bouncing into 2023. All guns blazing, full automatic, but cool as a cucumber. And let's smash 2023 and see what we can do. So let's leave it at that. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's to you, and may 2023 be yours and mine. Amen.